Hey, beautiful people. How are you today? It's the 15th of October. It's amazing the year has gone by so fast. And a lot has happened so far. And we don't know what the next year has in store for us. So today, I just decided to talk about something that is, what can I say, taboo to our African context, which is mental health. Not mental illness, but mental health. How do we deal with mental health as African people? And not just African people. You will find that amongst the Africans, you remember I spoke about the urban and the rural African. Usually, those who quite understand mental health are the more affluent Africans, which is the urban African, even not just the urban, but the more affluent in the urban. So the rest, it doesn't make sense to them. And mental health is very important as the physical health, going to gym. But how do we talk about it as Africans when we don't know what it is? How do you deal with it? We go through stuff and we don't know where to turn to, who to turn to. How do I talk about it? So in the end, we just keep quiet, we bottle it up, and then it eats us inside. The moment you start talking about mental health, there is a stigma that's attached to it, especially amongst the men, where people think when you start talking about it, it's about mental illness, kupenga, uhlanya, ukubheda. So how do we deal with it? I also don't have an answer, but I've realized that the more we start talking about it amongst ourselves, the better. We try and solve. We are not solving anything, but just the talking is therapeutic, because those who can afford it usually go to therapists. They do yoga. But it is all foreign to us. The peasants at the bottom, but we go through the same things, or even worse for us, because we're trying to survive. So you will find that those that are more affluent will have a mental breakdown because of a career, when they have a career, or a project that has gone wrong, or a relationship. Whereas down here, it's a matter of life and death. You're looking at survival. You want to survive, and you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. You don't know what the future has in store for you. You're a young man, you want to get married, you don't have a job, you have nothing, and these things you're thinking, so how am I going to raise a family? So you find that here we suffer in silence, but then on the other side, because we are among people that are going through the same, we normalize a lot of abnormalities. So maybe it's a coping mechanism, but well, I'm not sure. But that's how we survive. Because if I'm to tell you about my story, even now, I mean, I'm going through a lot. Like, I can't cope. But if I look back at the problems that I had when I was still staying with my grandma, but because, we were poor, like very poor, but content, We had dreams, we wanted to do this, but we were surrounded by people who didn't have. So it was normal not to have. So today, in the day of social media, you are reminded constantly how much you are worthless. You are not doing anything because people are posting this. I bought a new car, I bought a new house. This is my family. Husband calls, girlfriends call, and it's in your face. You are always constantly and consistently reminded of how much of a failure you are. So how do you deal with it? Like I said, I have no answer. If any of you has an answer, please hit me up. Let's talk about it, because it will help a lot. But then we need to contextualize it so that it's understandable. Because what then happens is, even if we have a solution, it's always lost in translation. So you are talking about mental health, it's English. How do you translate it to your local language? But it's not just translating it verbally, it's also understanding the philosophy behind the translation and carry it through from English to here and contextualize it so that people can understand. But we are going through a lot as a people, and all I can say is, let's be there for each other. Let's look out for each other. Let's call each other. Go out for drinks. Go and chill. If you don't drink, go and talk to other guys, Just talk. Talk about what? About nothing. It's important to talk. Don't seclude yourself. I'm not a psychologist, but this is what I find to be helpful at times. Just going out there and talking, because it's really tough. We're going through a lot in silence, and please don't feel the pressure of trying to impress people. That's one other thing that's destroying us as African people. Our life was so simple, very simple. I find it now that I'm actually thinking of going back and staying in the rural areas where life is very simple and easy. But I can't do that because I've got kids that need me. But the life is so simple. There is no thinking about bills. There's no thinking about this and that. You eat what you grow, and everything is readily available. It's more like you don't pay to live on this planet. But in urban, like here, every hour has to be worth something. If you don't monetize your time, come month end, you'll be crying because bills will be looking at you. And that's the biggest stress most people are going through. As for women age, they are going through a lot, relationship wise, because us guys are not treating them well, and I'll be the first one to own up. And they still have to face other issues like bills, survival, women health and all that. So it's tough. Anyway, hope this will be helpful, and please get in touch. Let's talk. If you want to come through, we can I can host you. We can have some chatting, some touch, somewhat, some talk, not touch. What am I talking about? Some talk, and we can share as nobodies. How do we live amongst ourselves? This is our world. Adios.